Hello everybody, welcome to JAIIB CAIIB English Medium channel. I hope that all of you are doing fine. Today in this particular video, we will be talking about the Hero to Superhero series. See, this particular series is dedicated for all those candidates who are serious to crack the examination of JAIIB in November 2025 itself. When we talk about the examination per se, the exam is approaching and the examination for the PPB will be held on 8th of November. Effectively, now we have less than 2 months for our examination, and in this scenario the best possible strategy to crack one exam would be to study the concepts. Along with that, try to solve certain MCQs based on these concepts. Fine, we cannot further delay the practice part of our preparation. So in this particular series, we are doing the same thing. We will be covering some concepts today, and based on those concepts, we will try to solve good quality MCQs. Fine. So stay till the end. You will find this particular session helpful. And if you want all the important topics to be covered in a quick succession, then we have already launched our crash course. Fine. The crash course has already been launched and the classes will commence in September only. If you want to know more details, you can contact us on the below mentioned number in the description. Okay, so now let's start our discussion with the topic that what is a security. In the previous units, you might have seen that we were talking about pledge, we talked about hypothecation, and there were certain you can say topics where we were discussing an agreement. Fine, that what do we mean by an agreement, whether a pledge is equivalent to the hypothecation, what happens to the assets when we talk about the pledge, or for that matter hypothecation. All these things we have covered, but what exactly is this security? So today we will be starting our discussion with that only. So bank finance is used by the borrowers for creation of some type of asset, either for business or for their personal use. The asset created out of the bank finance as per the normal banking practice is invariably taken as security. So whatever asset is being created using the bank finance will be covered by one type of, you can say, mechanism, and that particular mechanism prescribes certain terms and condition for the security. Besides, often banks call for any other asset owned by the borrower or the third party as collateral security. So there is always a primary security, fine, primary security, which we also know as a pledge or a hypothecation in various scenarios. And then there will be certain secondary security or the collateral attached if at all required by the bank. So what is the effectiveness of the securities? Why do we need securities to cover up for the loan amount? So the borrower should have good title to the security. If a particular bank is involved and the bank wants that this asset must be backed by the security, then what all parameters the bank must keep in mind while acknowledging that yes, this type of security is admissible for the loan type. So first of all, the borrower should have good title to the security. That means the borrower must be the owner of that security. The asset should be easily identifiable. You must be able to know that yes, for sure, this particular asset belongs to this person, or for that matter, the address of this asset is this one, the amount of the asset is this much. All these things you must know. Security should be easily and freely transferable. Why are we focused towards security? So that in case the loan turns into a bad asset, we will be able to recover the amount which has been disbursed as a credit. So if the security is not transferable, that is, you won't be able to recover the money from that particular security. That is the reason why it is written that it must be freely transferable. It should not have any incumbency or liability attached. For example, partly paid shares. So always remember, if a share agreement is there, fine, shares has been taken up as the security by the bank, then they must be fully paid, not the partial payment should have been done. Similarly, if we have a particular property which is attached as a security for some loan, then no liability on that particular property must be with the particular borrower. Fine. The borrower must not have any kind of liability attached to that property which the bank is taking as a security. The ownership of the asset should be absolute. So always remember, the defined ownership of the asset is preferred while taking the asset as a security. The security should be easily marketable. All stakeholders whosoever are involved in a loan, be it the customer or the borrower, the bank, the valuer or the advocate, all must be able to know for sure that yes, what is the exact price of that particular security. Assets without wide price fluctuations are preferable. Fine. So without wide uh, price fluctuations mean that supposingly there is one asset attached to the particular loan and it is covered under the investments. Fine. And which type of investment? Let's suppose foreign institutional investments. Now these FIIs are highly volatile. Fine. You never know when they will leave the country and move their shares or their assets to the other nation. Such kind of securities, such kind of instruments must not be taken as a security. Why? Because they have wide price fluctuations. So without wide price fluctuation, if you have any security, that will be preferable. Market value should be easily ascertainable. You should be able to certain that yes, this is the exact market value of the security. It should be possible to store the security in secured manner in case of pledge particularly. So when we talk about the pledge, the best example in front of us is of the setup, that is gold loan. And in gold loan, what happens? The gold resides with the bank, and the possession basically of the gold ornaments or the uh, you can say gold assets will be there with the bank, and the loan will be you can say the loan amount will be fulfilled by the bank in the initial phase, and the borrower will be remitting the amount from his or her account on regular basis. So the asset lies with the bank, and the loan amount whatsoever is involved, the principal as well as interest amount, will be settled by the customer. The security should be durable for a reasonable period of time. So reasonable period of time means what? It should not be the case that after 2 years only a particular property will be transferred to some government authority. Such kind of properties will not be having any kind of value for the bank in the longer run. So all these parameters must be fulfilled by the borrower. Only then the banks will be interested to consider the asset as a security. What are the types of securities? See, first of all, we have the immovable asset, wherein you will have the maximum example pertaining to the property. Fine. Property can be of many various forms, like your land, then you have building, then commercial projects are there, then residential projects are there. All these come under the category of immovable asset. What are the movable asset? Mostly you find the movable asset as your car or the vehicle, whatsoever you want to take into consideration. Then we have the gold ornaments. Then movable assets involve certain investments which you are doing. Fine. But mostly these investments are under the category of intangible assets. Then we have actionable or financial assets. So financial assets, mostly the FD and RD, against the FD, you know that the loan can be provided. So these are the types of securities. First and the foremost, the most important security, the most common security for big loans will be the land and building. So this type of security is not of self-liquidating nature. That is, since it is held for long term in the same form, it does not get converted into cash during the economic cycle. You have to sell the property, right? Only then you will be able to know for sure that what is the amount which you can recover. In the event of the bank decides to sell the property for recovering its advance, it needs to do so through the legal process only. It cannot be done directly by the bank. So the court will be involved if the particular property is not covered under the SARFAESI Act, then the legal process will be followed. Otherwise, what happens if it is SARFAESI compliant, then directly the recovery can happen using the bidding process. What are the advantages for the banks when you talk about the land and building as security? The advantage over other types is that its value generally increases with time. Okay, so you need not to get worried whenever we talk about the land and building, that whether we would be able to, recover the advance amount involved or not. Mostly we have seen that the particular price of the land and building, they are always on a higher side. Then certain disadvantages are there. First and the foremost, valuation is at times very difficult. Right? Sometimes we have the empaneled valuer, but the exact valuation we cannot do. Ascertaining the title of the owner, this is the major issue. Fine, whenever we talk about the title or the ownership of the particular land or building, we should be very much certain that yes, this particular land belongs to the person who is borrowing some amount from the bank. If we are unable to do that, unable to decide, and the customer is persistent in saying that yes, this land belongs to me, then we won't be in a position to lend him or her. Then incumbency attached, fine, there must be certain incumbency which is attached, like certain liability with the customer already attached with that particular asset. Chances are there that already some loan is going on for that particular asset, for that particular building, and the customer is persistently saying that yes, I will be presenting this building as my security. So if security is already on loan, how you will be ascertaining the fact that yes, we can recover the amount in future? You won't be able to recover, right? Difficult to realize the security. Sometimes there will be difficulty to realize the security. That means the map locations, fine. The, you can say, location as described by the various directions. Right? The map which has been uh, you know constructed by the prepared by the architecture firm or the architect, individual architect, they might be able to gauge the proper direction, and chances are there that they won't be able to have the proper dimension or the measurement of that particular land and building. Then also problem will creep in of misjudgment. Then creating a charge is a costly affair, so a number of parties are involved when we talk about creating a charge on the particular land and building. So the district administration will be involved in the form of tehsil office. Then we have the advocate, we have the valuer, we also have some pre-sanction, post-sanction activities at the end of the bank, which will be having certain cost, indirect cost involved to that, fine, attached to that. Then difficulty on account of Rent Control Act. So there are certain types of hypothecation where you can enjoy, right? You can enjoy the rent also, fine. Mostly in the banks, you might have seen that a particular land is attached as a security, right? Land or building is attached as a security, then only the value of the land or for that matter building will be attached to the loan. But in certain cases in other countries, what happens, the land or the building price is there, along with that whatever effective rent is being decided by the owner of this land, or for that matter owner of the building, that will also be enjoyed by the bank on regular basis. So but in our country it is not a direct intervention from the side of banks. That is why it is difficult to realize the actual amount which is involved in the entire loan setup. Now, the most important part of this entire discussion will be the documents which you need to which you need to secure from the mortgager. First of all, the documents of title. all the material documents of title like your sale deed, gift deed, will, partition deed, conveying the title to the borrower. Right? Whatever type of setup is involved, you must be having the specific deed for that, and that must be submitted to the loan to the bank who is providing the loan to this mortgager, that is the customer. Then the parent documents, these are taken for the prescribed period to ascertain the flow of title. Usually the banks call for parent documents for 30 years. Fine. The chain of documents, which we call in the banks. Fine. The parent documents, this term we do not use that much. Instead of that, we use the chain of the documents, and the chain of the documents must be ascertained from today till the past 30 years. Then we have incumbency certificate. This is taken normally for 13 years, fine, not 30. Always remember this is 13 years to see if any incumbency subsists on the property, any kind of loan is there, any kind of case is ongoing for that particular property. All these things are taken care, and all of you who have bought their own houses, they must be knowing that incumbency certificate is the one which we as an owner of the property must look into. Then we have the property tax receipts. The tax receipts for the property are usually an evidence that the possession of property is of the proposed mortgager. Fine. So possession, in order to tell the bank that yes, I am the real possessor of this particular property. The property lies with me. Then you can directly provide the property tax receipt. Fine. If you are not owning that property, why would you give the tax? Then court permission, if the property offered is standing in the name of the minor, permission of the competent court to encumber the property is required. So always remember, whenever the property is having the particular owner as a minor, then the permission will be given by the court. Right? The court permission is mandatory in those scenarios. Search report, if the immovable property belongs to a company which is registered under the Companies Act. Certificate of registration of charges, the RC, issued by the ROC, that is Registrar of Companies, is required in order to ascertain any charge subsisting on the property. Then we have the lawyer's report also. So normally the banks take an opinion from their empaneled advocate regarding the clear, good and marketable title of the proposed mortgager over the property. So various you can see parties are involved, and that makes this entire process a bit costly as compared to other securities. Now, how the valuation of property will happen? So by utilizing the services of recognized valuers who would be engineers or the architects. Making inquiries with local real estate agents, that is also one of the method via which we can value our property, the property which is involved in the loan, not our property. Fine. By using the valuation published by the local authorities, the municipal corporation, using latest sale transaction of the neighboring properties, you can have an idea, right? Not the exact amount, but the idea that yes, if the adjacent property was bought by some individual worth rupees 30 lakh, fine, that was the worth of that property. Most probably this property which is involved in our loan will be having the price range plus minus 2 lakh from 30 lakh. Calculations based on the annual rental value, whatever the rental value is, accordingly based on the various states or the districts, we multiply some number and we arrive at the actual rate of that particular property. Now let's see one concept which talks about the difference between freehold and leasehold properties. So the nature of ownership can be defined as freehold or leasehold. In freehold land, what happens? The owner is absolute title holder of the land and is able to deal with it as he likes. Whatever he likes, he can deal with it like that. But in leasehold, what happens is the one which is taken on lease for a specified period. So always remember, in freehold, you are the owner of the property, you own the property as well as the land which is involved. Fine. But in leasehold, what is happening? You own the property, but not the land. Land you do not own, or the building your property is in. Fine. So you own the property, but not the land or the entire building which houses one of your office. So that's the basic difference. Always remember, the freehold will be a property which you own, the land on which the property has been constructed, that also you own, and the space above the property also you own. So you can in future construct more number of floors as well. Okay, so there are other aspects also, but let's skip that part and try to solve this question, which is important for the examination. So banks or financial institutions, before sanctioning a loan against a property, require various documents from the borrower or the mortgager to ensure that the ownership and title of the property are clear and free from any disputes. These documents help the lender verify the legal ownership, history of title, liabilities, and possession of the property. Now, based on these, you can say scenarios, or for that matter these kind of descriptions, in the actual exam also you will be given some statements, and based on the scenario as well as the statements you need to give me the answer. So here the statements involve three various you can say documents. So first is the document of title, then we have parent document and incumbency certificate. So the statements for your various documents, starting off with documents of title, states that these include material documents such as sale deed, gift deed, partition deed that establish and convey the ownership. Fine. So what is the keyword here? The ownership rights of the property. So that is a correct statement. We have just seen it. The parent documents are those older documents related to the title history. Fine. The chain of documents, as we call it in the banks, usually require for the past 30 years to trace the ownership and ascertain a continuous and valid chain of title. That is again correct. Incumbency certificate. This certificate usually taken for the past 13 years helps determine if any incumbency like charge or liability exists on the property that could affect its ownership or the transaction. Again, this is also true. So what will be the right answer here? Option D, that is 1, 2, and 3. Okay, and such kind of questions I am again telling you will be asked in your actual examination. And normally students, after sitting in the actual exam, they think that this is a very bulky question, you won't be able to solve it. But mind it, that 2 marks are at stake. When we talk about such lengthy questions, 2 marks are at stake, and these type of simple questions students tend to skip. Okay, so do not fall into that category. I want every student whosoever is watching this particular session to learn from here that even if the statements are too big, the question statement overall is too big, you need to solve the question, because we never know whether it's an easy question or not. Okay, the correct answer will be option B. Fine. Next question here, consider this as your homework. Here you have to tell me the correct statement based on the freehold land and your uh, leasehold property. So the difference we have seen in the session. Tell me in the comment section what will be the correct answer. Fine. So for the students who want PDF of this particular session, you can directly download the PDF from the description, which from the link which is given in the description below. And if you want to have a look in the courses which we are offering, you can directly contact us on the number that is 0981 981 9247, or for that matter, the number which is given in the description box as well. Okay, for your information, I have already told you in the beginning that the crash course which we have launched, it will be starting from the September month. Okay, so if you have any doubt, feel free to ask me in the comment section. We'll meet in the next session. Till then, goodbye everybody, take care.